Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Godzilla podcast. Well, we just had the major news the other day with regards to the release date being changed for Godzilla 2. Instead of it coming out in 2018, now it would come out to March 22nd, 2019. And you saw my own expressions and opinions on that. Well, lo and behold, cut to 24 hours later, and another bombshell has now dropped with regards to Godzilla 2. Easily the biggest one yet. And it has to do with the fact that the original Helmer, the director for the first Godzilla film, Gareth Edwards, he is now out. He is officially removed or withdrawn from the Warner Brothers legendary sequel. So I've included a link below for Variety, and it details some good information related to it. It even goes into a source citing the reasons why Edwards decided to essentially leave the project. If you remember, I think it was last year during Comic-Con, there was that huge announcement of sorts that stated that yes, that even though Edwards was working at that time on that Star Wars Rogue One film, that he and Legendary were still going to partner together and make sure that yes, he would indeed be the person fixing and essentially helming the not just the franchise but essentially the rest of the films throughout, the upcoming sequels. But now cut to today, and the news drops. It looks like he decided no more. He's not going to be part of this franchise, and that Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures are now seeking another new director. So, on the hunt for that at least. And of course, any new news that comes to regards to that, I will definitely post it here. Now, the source, according to Variety, stated that this reason is not anything bad. Like, it's not something in terms of him being removed from the project forcefully, or let's say there being some kind of conflict between the two partnerships. But no, it actually has to do with the fact that Edwards seems to have a desire to go back to smaller projects. If you recall, he had a huge, absolutely the biggest jump ever when he went from a teeny tiny little film called Monsters all the way to the blockbuster $500 million plus Godzilla film. And then on top of that, he switches to then the Star Wars Rogue One film, which is even bigger. It should make even much more money than the Godzilla one itself. So now he's looking to come back full circle maybe and start working on a smaller film. Someone else though was mentioning that there's another source that he was also not wanting to be pressured, is this right, to meet the timeline of the film. So that's pretty interesting because again, you have still about 3 years now with the new release date for the Godzilla 2 to come out. So if 3 years is still not enough time for someone, I don't know exactly how much time someone needs after that. In 3 years you can film 2 movies the way the things go nowadays, let alone one film altogether. So I don't know exactly much information on that part, but if I'm sure that as the days go by, there will be more presented, more little breadcrumbs, if you will, presented about the real reasons why he left this project. But what do you guys think? Good news? Bad news? Edwards is again officially out. I don't see him returning after this, because once the project changes dynamically like this and there's a big bombshell news like this, normally you don't have that person coming back later on. Maybe, who knows, in one of the other sequels potentially, but at least this coming one, the second movie, no, I don't see that happening. Already the forums and the comments, some people are saying that it's bad news because they like the fact that Edwards, who is notorious for the slow burn, in other words, he knows how to definitely set up scenes and create that suspension, and then when the payoff comes, it absolutely does a payoff of sorts. Others, of course, are pointing to the big elephant in the room when it comes to the Godzilla film, and it has to do with the fact that so many of the scenes not necessarily dragged on, but there was very little action. And then when it did finally go to the action, that's when it decided to pull out. Like, it decided to cut to a completely different scene as opposed to offering what should have been some of those fantastic shots within the movie. That was my opinion as well too. Those of you that have seen my reviews for the Godzilla 2014 film, and then even the one that I did a year later, you would know that that is still, at least for me, the biggest drawback of that film. The fact that so much payoff goes towards one final like set of scenes, and then boom, it just drops to a completely different scene, not just once but multiple times. And if it would have had instead those magical scenes truly play out, like let's say in Jurassic Park, like, well, I'll use that example again, when the T-Rex makes its debut, we knew the impact of that scene because we saw it from start to finish. If that would have happened within the Godzilla film, I think that would have definitely made a much bigger impact. So I don't know. I'm not exactly happy that he's leaving, but I do want to see, I guess, new blood within the franchise, and I'm eagerly looking to see who they hire. I'm already going to throw out a suggestion, is the idea that I don't think they're going to hire anyone big, like no name director of some sort. Instead, it's probably going to be another, let's say, not a newbie, but someone that is also working on independent films, and then will be given the chance to helm something like this. That seems to be the pattern nowadays between the Godzilla world and then also the Jurassic World films, how that seems to be the pattern these days. So anyways, share your thoughts below. Gareth Edwards, he is no longer involved with the sequel. It'd be great to hear what your comments are related to this. Alright, thanks everybody. Take care.